All right, so if you're looking for giant master plan communities, endless amenities, and a plethora of things to do when making that move to Florida, then you may want to look elsewhere because this part of the coast isn't going to be what you're looking for. So what's going on, everyone? My name is Andrew Pensch, your realtor for any home up and down the stretch of the Florida East Coast. If you're looking for a channel that goes over everything about what it's like to live, play, eat, sleep, and buy real estate anywhere in the Florida East Coast, make sure to like this video, tap that subscribe button, and hit that notification bell because I'll be uploading a video every single week about what it's like living here on the Florida East Coast. Also, if you wanted to work with me when making that move to Florida, make sure to give me a call, shoot me a text, or send me an email because I've got your back when moving to the Florida East Coast. You can also check out our website, which is fleastcoast.com, where you can search for your new Florida dream home, stay updated with the market updates, and a lot more. Alrighty guys, so it's time to jump into the meat and potatoes of this video. What exactly makes Vero Beach and the surrounding areas different from the other new shiny master plan communities like the Villages, Lakewood Ranch, and Wellen Park? So now a client of mine gave me the idea to make this video when he asked if Vero has anything when compared to where he was at, which was the West Villages in Venice, Florida. So I got to thinking, gave him my response, and then decided that this would be a great topic to make a video about. So now first I wanted to start this video off with what a master plan community is really like and what we are really competing against with this client. So now let's talk the Villages in Central Florida first. So the Villages is a very active 55 plus community that offers endless things to do such as live music, dancing every night, walkable bars, restaurants, movie theaters, golf courses, and the ability to use a golf cart to get just about anywhere you need to go. While Melbourne to Vero may have a lot in common with the activities there is to do, it wasn't thought out in the master plan style that the Villages were. Another example of this is Lakewood Ranch in the Sarasota area, which has been thought of as the most desirable suburban utopia to live in. So Lakewood Ranch has a ton of trendy restaurants all around, breweries, shopping centers that are also wet areas, which means that you're actually allowed to take your beer or cocktail with you while walking around and exploring the other restaurants and shops. They have Spanish style buildings and plazas that give you the diversity and culture you may be looking for, walking and fitness trails, and a lot more. This makes it a great area for young families to consider since there are no age restrictions on living there, while still giving you all of the activities that you were looking for, along with the safety and being in a newer, better kept area in Florida versus the major metro areas like Orlando or Miami that could have those higher crime rates that you're looking to avoid. Now, the last example I will give is Wellen Park in Venice, Florida. Now, Venice is where my wife and I were most serious about when considering where to move to. The reason why Venice is such a big consideration was because it seemed to check all the boxes for us at the time that we were looking for. It had good school zones, beautiful water, and enough commercial activities to keep us busy. But we're not talking about just Venice, Florida. We're discussing Wellen Park. So Wellen Park has a website where you can see the highlights of what it's like living there. There are constant events being scheduled like Zumba in downtown Wellen Park, walking and cycling groups meetups, yoga, live music at the sunset, farmers markets, concerts, paint and sips, and a lot more. They also go into detail about what the school zones there are being top notch to appeal to the younger families. The Atlanta Braves play there and practice there. And if you aren't too far away from Venice beaches, or Venice's world's famous beaches as well, so you can go shark tooth hunting and things like that as well. Now, why did I just talk so highly of these areas when I'm not selling real estate there? Well, first of all, I just wanted you guys to know that I will always be honest with you when you work with me. I'm not afraid of telling someone why Vero Beach and the surrounding areas may or may not be for them, but I also wanted you to know that our area has a lot of similarities while staying more low-key about it. For instance, if you go to verobeach.com, I'm recording this in the beginning of August. The events that we had last weekend were the Vero Beach and Fort Pierce farmers markets, where local vendors can set up shop with beautiful scenery and get out to sell their goods to the public. Harbor Branch had an Indian River Lagoon boat tour. There was a First Friday art gallery stroll in our historic downtown art district, a ballet at Riverside Theater, and a lot more. Also, not to mention, almost everyone and their mothers takes out their boats on the weekends here and hits up the sandbars and spoil islands all around the lagoon and the inlets. If you want to see a highlight glimpse of what it is like, what this whole weekend sandbar type of getup is like, go check out Vero Beach natives Jake Owen's new video that just dropped that he was recording here a few weeks ago called On the Boat Again. Spending one weekend out on the sandbar will really give you a feel for what the culture is like here for both the wealthy and the working class, where the old Florida values, just having a good classic good time, really stand out. Now let's talk a little bit about why we're similar and how we're similar, but different at the same time.
Same, but different. But still same.
While all these master plan communities may have their countless things to do, advertise all over to get you folks to move there, we prefer to keep things a little bit more low-key on this stretch of the coast. There are no big developers, grand-esque ideas coming to life, no insane commercial villages with thousands of residents and that sort. We have amazing restaurants, but they are owned by people of the community that you get to know and love the longer you live here. I'm talking about restaurants like Country Kitchen on Old Dixie Highway, where my dad walks in there and the chef knows him by name and his order. The Lemon Tree, which is a great breakfast place on Ocean Drive with a family-oriented feel. Boutiques owned by members of the community and not strip malls with franchises and global companies. Quick story for you guys. While I was getting everything together for this video, my wife walked in with Canon and told me about the amazing time they had at the arcade located in the Indian River Mall. Now, the mall isn't anything too impressive. In fact, most of it consists of the closed down stores, furniture storage, and a church. They went to this arcade and to pass some time in the AC because it is pretty hot outside. And the people there were just absolutely, they just loved their jobs. So they told Cannon that if he got something he didn't like in the claw machine, that they would be happy to swap it out for something he was aiming for. They helped him learn each game and a ton of other cool stuff there too. This is just one example of the southern hospitality we have here in Vero Beach, which I must say is very different from the culture in South Florida. We took a trip to Boynton Beach to get Cannon's haircut because there wasn't anywhere we could find that it was catered towards kids in order to get a haircut. And it was like everyone there was in a sour mood. So from road rage from when we were driving down there to angry customers in the stores and in the restaurants, it was a completely different mindset down there. So listen, if you fall in the category of the sourpusses I saw in South Florida, we do not want you moving here. I repeat, we don't want you. Our little town has a way of pushing out rotten eggs anyway. Okay, let me just calm down for a second. Sorry about that, but that is just something. I don't want this little town to be turning into South Florida. And I think that's the beauty of Vero Beach anyway. All right, now that that's out of the way, let's talk a little bit about how Vero Beach is laid out. We have 4 main areas plus a bonus that I'm gonna talk about a little bit later. So starting east and working our way west, we have the Ocean Drive area. So Ocean Drive is littered with 5-star fine dining restaurants, family-owned boutiques, wine bars, oceanfront Margaritaville type restaurants, and free beach parking. The area is technically called Central Beach because you're centrally located to all the shopping and conveniences around, which does have older homes but sells for a higher price for this reason. The other reason for the higher price tag is the distance between the 2 bridges that we have in Vero. So this makes commuting on and off the island much easier for that. The second area we have is the Miracle Mile Plaza. So this area has just about everything that you could need. So if you live in Pensch Park, Royal Park, or any of the other central Vero neighborhoods, you'll be spending a lot of time here. Miracle Mile has a Publix, a Fresh Market for you shoppers looking for more of like a Whole Foods or a Trader Joe's experience, along with plenty other conveniences like different banks, cosmetic stores, jewelry stores. Shout out to Mike and Jordan at 6th Avenue Jewelers. Always took good care of me there. TJ Maxx, different restaurants like 2J's, Panera Bread, and smaller family-owned options like we have like Chive and local surf and dive shops like Deep Six, and pretty much everything else that you could possibly need. So don't count us out yet. We have all the cool things, but you just need to search a little bit harder when living here. All right, third on the list, we have downtown Vero Beach. Now, this is a really neat area. You can log log on to visitindianrivercounty.com and check out everything that we have to offer, but I'll tell you a little bit about what we have there. So going down the list, starting with the art and culture, we have events going on the first Friday of the month along with the last Friday of the month. On the first Friday is where they have the gallery stroll, where you can check out local artists' work, and on the last Friday we host the downtown Vero Beach event, where local vendors, live music, and a ton of other fun shuts down the downtown strip. For dining options, we have Italian breakfast cafes like Bocce, different coffee shops like the 1420 Coffee House and Rio Coco Cafe, which by the way has delicious breakfast sandwiches and wraps. Lunch and dinner spots like Italian Kitchen, Vero Prime Steakhouse, Beach Bum Bagel Cafe, and my personal favorite, which is Taco Dive. If trendy restaurants for dinner is your thing, there's options for you too, such as Southern Social, which has a more rustic atmosphere, Post and Vine, where you can drink and have wine and a bite to eat underneath the string lights outside, Kilton Mermaid, where you can drink weird beers and eating chocolate and cheese fondue, and American Icon Brewery, which is a cool historic old diesel power plant that was fully restored and is now the centerpiece of the restaurant and brewery. So they literally have the diesel engine that was used as this power plant sitting as the centerpiece there, and the brewery is set up all around it. It's really, really neat what they did there. The fourth area I'd like to cover is where I personally spend most of my time, and that's near Indian River Mall or the West Vero corridor. Now, I don't spend most of my time there because it's the best on the list. It's just because I can ride my e-bike there in under 5 minutes. So I can open up my garage and ride my bike to Chick-fil-A, Chipotle, Fujiyama's, Outback, Italian Grill. Actually, now thinking about it, I should probably ditch the e-bike because I need to burn those calories I've been taking in going to these places. This area really is a big commercial area. They have Home Depot, Lowe's, the big chain restaurants, which we just listed a couple seconds ago. The Walmart Supercenters there, Publix, Panera Bread, Starbucks. I mean, you get the drill. I don't need to elaborate too much on this because I did visit each spot in my A to Z guide of moving to Vero Beach, which I recommend you watch if you haven't already. Anyways, I promise a bonus round, and there actually is going to be 2 here as well. That's because we have 2 major highways that hold a lot of the commercial here as well. These 2 are State Road 60, which will actually take you all the way to Tampa if you wanted to head across the state, and US 1, which stretches all the way from Key West all the way to Fort Kent, Maine. So by default, with these being low speed, long highways, a lot of commercial will make its way to these locations. So plenty of public shopping centers, restaurants, auto parts stores, coffee shops, you name it, it's on these types of roads. So let's summarize a little bit and end this video on a positive note. So we may not have the big time developers, the master plan walkable layouts, and the new shiny everything, but what we do have is good Southern values, a slower pace of life that will actually have you go out and explore once you move here, and a county that cares about preservation while everyone around us is expanding like crazy and opening up those floodgates. This is why we decided to call Indian River County home after exploring the entire state. We appreciate the way things are done here, and while we are not completely opposed to change, we just take a little bit longer to adopt new things, and that's okay with us. Again, if you have any questions or concerns, please don't hesitate to reach out. All my information will be right here on the screen and also down in the description below. And until next week, goodbye, my future neighbors.